It genuinely only takes 3 to 5 years to never have to worry about money again in your entire life. I mean, think about it. That is the same amount of time people spend at college to hopefully get a job. The problem is when you start a business online or you start to learn, let's say, a side hustle, it is not going to make you money for a long period of time. But if you are continuously getting better and compounding at that skill and you become incredibly good at it, the real issue is most people say they want to make money online because of all these, let's say, this epidemic of course sellers. And after making money online, I can 1000% guarantee you it is better than you can imagine, having the freedom to travel wherever you want to and having an online business. But when you start, you have to get very good at a skill. And that is just something that people are willing to pay for. It is a high paying skill that directly benefits another business. And the closer you can tie what you are doing towards profiting another business, the more they will pay you for it. And therefore, the better you get at that skill, the more you can charge, the more money you can make. Getting very good at a skill is the first step in running a business. But it changes. For me, it took a few years to get very good at a skill that people are willing to pay a lot of money for. But then I have a very high paying job, which I wanted to grow into a business, but growing a business is very different. It is building out the systems, the processes, and the people in place to do what you were doing. Because you start to get, or at least I, got under the assumption that no one else can do what I do. Oh, it's like, I figured it out. And it's this egotistical thing. Like all of these super rich guys are paying me because I'm really good at it. When that's not the case. It was my inability to train other people that prevented us from making more money. And so that means my fault was I was good at the thing, but I sucked at training other people to do the thing. So it took me a long time to build the foundation from me being good at something to then investing in the systems. Let's say going from making a lot of money at a young age, a lot of money, to then making very little money because I was investing in the future by building the systems, hiring more people, and then training those people. And then it's how do you train people at scale to do what you do? And how do you build this a business where instead of it being just referrals, which has grown us to a few dozen clients where we have a 5-figure plus monthly fee, where we are really, really helping grow all the large online businesses or all the large businesses online, doing all of their social media, building all the funnels to convert that traffic into customers, doing a variety of other things to be their in-house growth partner. And we charge a lot of money for that because it is very challenging to do what we do and to do it at such a good scale. But to grow a business, it then takes a different skill because now you have to learn how to market your own business. You need to know how to acquire customers. You need to have a channel to acquire those customers. We have a systematic way to get clients via referral, where after the first big win, we get a testimonial. After the second massive win that we get our clients, we ask if they know anyone else that needs our service. Therefore, after a few month period of time, pretty systematically get referrals from each of our clients if we can continuously show a better and better job, which is why training and onboarding new employees and training them as super high caliber talent is so important. So we're not in this hamster wheel, which a lot of businesses come in, of having a high churn, which is why we have very, 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 very little churn for our business. In fact, so far, the only clients that have ever canceled, we have canceled on them because they were not withholding what we needed from them. But all of this just takes time. You don't know what you don't know when you're starting out. But it really, at least for me, it took a solid 4 years to now have a business where if I wanted to, I could sell and I would never have to work another day in my entire life. That is not what I want at all. I want to grow this into an incredibly large organization where we have thousands and thousands of employees. And that is exactly what we were going to do. I love the game of business. I love playing at a higher level and I want to progress. I want to be responsible for having a ton of jobs and helping people financially. And that is only possible with a bigger business, because the bigger the business gets, the more benefits more people have. The more my family, the more other people that work with us, the more incentives that you can have. And I love the progress. I am obsessed with getting better and better and better. And for me, business is the most fun sport of all time. And I just want to play at the highest level and continuously get better and better. But I genuinely believe that anyone can pick any lane and become completely financially free and independent within a few year period of time by learning a high paying skill. And you could systematically turn that into a business, but you wouldn't even have to. And it doesn't matter which online guru you want to choose from. All of their products could work. E-commerce can work, paid ads can work, info can work. All of these things that you see, they do work. They've worked for other people. They could work for you if you are an outlier person and you put in the time, effort, and you actually apply yourself to the best of your ability. But it's not going to happen in a few months. And people that are promising complete beginners with no other skill sets, or that no skill sets that correlate to revenue right now, into making 10 grand a month in a few months, that is so unrealistic. But if you try and do that and have realistic 4 to 5 year expectations and have a bigger goal, it is so achievable to make more money than you could have ever dreamed of, than your parents make in a year. Like that is more than achievable if you just dedicate a few years, like literally 4 to 5 years. Great things just take time to build. And I know all of my friends that have been in business, most of their businesses are 30 plus years old. I know when we're a decade in business, I'm going to look back and think that I knew so little now. We are making massive moves, and I know the moves that we are making are going to have a huge impact. But I don't know what I don't know. And you always have blind spots. And to think that you could start a side hustle or a online business and instantly become in the 1% of total earners on earth in a few months is incredibly egotistical. If you actually think about it, think about how hard your parents work and how hard you see the older people in your life work and how much money they make. Maybe they make $100,000 per year if they are lucky. If they make that, they are in the 1% of the entire world. Do you think that within 6 months of starting something, you are going to be in the 1% of the entirety of the world? Genuinely, or 1 year. These people have been at their craft for fucking 3 decades. I bet your parents have been at their job for decades at end. Do you think that you, with working on one task for 6 months, are going to make more than your parents? Are you better at your craft than they are at theirs? Or these other people in your life that you see? Probably not. And when you have realistic expectations, it becomes a lot more feasible to understand the amount of effort and the amount of sacrifice that it takes. If you want to be in the 1%, you have to act and work way harder and way smarter and be better in a lot of ways. You literally have to do things better. And if you can't do it better, you have to work substantially harder until you can do it better. You can't work smart until you've worked hard to know what working smart looks like. And you can't work with leverage until you've worked on a lot of things to know what is leverage tasks. It drives me crazy when people are saying, oh, just work on the highest leverage task. Because most people, when they're starting out, they are drinking soda, having terrible habits, just watching Netflix or TV, doing really nothing beneficial. The first step is just stopping all of that. That's what I had to do when I was 17 years old. I stopped hanging out with everybody. I completely threw out my TV. I deleted TikTok and all of short form media off my phone. And I just started reading books and started to listen to long form podcasts. And that was actually the worst shape of my life I ever got into. I was in an exceptional shape where when I was 17 years old during COVID, before I decided to change my life, I was running minimum 6 to 10 miles every single day, and I was in great shape. But you can only have one priority, one actual priority. If it is your priority, that means it is the number one thing on your to-do list. And mine was, I needed to figure out a way to make money online so I didn't have to go to college and that I wanted to apprentice myself under someone. Therefore, fitness took a massive back burner. I was running for hours on end every single day. I changed that to where I was studying on hours on end. I was going to the gym for hours. I had to stop that. I had to hyper focus on just getting better. I had to get a skill. I had to put so much effort to gain a little bit of momentum because it literally feels like you are up against an immovable object where there's this massive rock, and no matter how hard you push, it is impossible to move. And it takes so much effort to get that rock to move and start to build momentum and start to get off the ground, to go from 0 to 1. for me, it was a no-brainer that I had to cut everything off and just hyper-focus on that. And then it took me 8 months to do that, to go from $0 to $1 online. And then I was making $4,000 a month for a long time. But the amount of effort that it took to get there and the amount of sacrifice, I literally cut everything off in my life. And if I didn't do that, I know that I would have unfortunately been in the exact same position today.